What's up YouTube, ODST General back again with the April Fool's update for 2023. I don't know when you guys are going to be watching this, but it's definitely not going to be when this campaign/event was running. And if you guys find this event interesting, and I happen to be how you were finding out about this video, I do apologize. This is my shtick with Warthunder. Every year I release the April Fool's update very late, and I think it's funny, and I'll keep doing it. And none of you can stop me. So, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this event. Now, this has been an event I've seen some pretty mixed reactions to. Personally, this is, for me, one of my favorite events in Warthunder since it came out. Now, there's some balance issues and stuff, though, and I'll get more into that later. But basically, the premise is that infantry where exoskeletons have been added. Now, when you guys are watching this footage, the footage is from, I want to say, the 2nd of April, and the audio recording I'm doing this is now the 14th of April, so it's been a couple weeks since I recorded this footage. Unfortunately, I was working overnight when I recorded it, and I thought about recording live audio and doing video, but I had a couple of pretty good matches, so I went back and re-recorded the matches. And a little bit different than previous videos, but I've just gotten rid of the HUD for the sake of this one, so you guys won't be actually getting the pop-ups when I get the kills, but I'll throw up my score and everybody else's score at the end of the match here. But yeah, anyways, this is a mobile infantry event, is what it's called, and again, it's infantry and exoskeletons. The exoskeletons have jump jet thrusters. They're much smaller than tanks. But these guys are armed with all sorts of heavy weaponry. Right now, I'm playing as the sniper class, and I think I played the sniper in both of these videos because the sniper was very powerful the first couple days. It still is, as the event stands right now, but it did get nerfed a little bit, or brought more in line, I should say, with the other classes. The sniper uses a 30mm round, and the drop and stuff is a little bit funky. There's also some ping issues, but yeah, the round can be absolutely devastating. The sniper also packs a couple of unguided rockets. I'm not sure the exact round type for the rockets, but they look very similar to, I guess, like RPG rounds or something. So they can be used to knock out like lighter vehicles like a BMP, or they can kill infantry pretty well if they hit them head on. So the sniper is pretty good. Better when somebody can actually aim, which obviously I cannot. There's also assault classes. The assault class, I forget the exact round they use. I know that the American version uses the Browning machine gun that you'd see on tanks and stuff. And I'm not sure what the Russian version uses. The infantry, the assault, have guided rockets. With the Russian one, it's basically like a tow, which is to say you guide it in, so basically wherever you point is where it will go. The American assault infantry has a laser lock-on, kind of similar to helicopters, so basically you lock the target and then you fire, and it will guide in that way. I'm a little less of a fan of the American one. At first I kind of liked it more, but then I realized as people started realizing how to avoid it, it's much easier to avoid the American version because you're gonna lock and it's just gonna go where it's gonna go, and you don't really have any control over that. There's also a anti-tank class. The anti-tank class has like an 8mm gun, and they've got a grenade launcher, and then they've got a couple of higher powered anti-tank rockets, whereas the assault are basically just kind of like anti-infantry, and again, like the sniper, they can kill like BMPs and stuff from the right angle. They're not very powerful. The anti-tank ones will wreck some stuff. Infantry, tanks, you know, tanks can survive their rounds, but a lot of times even from the front, it'll still get a kill on the tank. Now, there's a couple times in here too, you'll see me getting some hits, and what you guys can't see without the HUD is that in some cases, hits were phasing through because of, I guess, desync issues. Ping was a little more noticeable with this, but I guess in part to the smaller size of the infantry frames. Then there was also the fact that, you know, you could hit an infantry even though you're shooting a man with a 30mm round. Because of the way the volumetric shells would work is they'd hit the exoskeleton, and there's times where you might hit an infantry and kill him in one shot, And then there's other times where you might hit him 5 times with the sniper rifle, and he'll survive all 5. So it's kind of all over the place in terms of actually getting kills in this. And you guys are going to be seeing some of that. So some of these times where it looks like I just can't hit the guy, I'm actually hitting them, and I'm just not killing them. And then there's other times where I'm just not hitting them. Right here, though, this shot really highlights probably my favorite thing about this event. What makes this such a fun event for me is the way it changes how you interact and explore with these maps. So there's 3 maps that come with this: Alaska, Severisk 13, and Sun City. And they've all been modified a little bit to basically allow for more verticality and cover for the infantry. So Alaska's probably had the most notable alterations, with a rail line being put through the center of the city with train stations and stuff like that. But you can see here I'm jumping up in the construction yard. A lot of guys can't really see me because they're not really used to how small infantry can like fit into all these spots yet. So there's a couple of other guys you'll notice who kind of figured out you could get in the construction yard and tried shooting me or try getting in there. And a lot of people are just completely oblivious, and I blend in if you don't know how to use thermals, because a lot of guys apparently don't even know the thermals are on these anti-infantry. So I was probably getting a lot of pretty easy kills. As this event's gone on, it's definitely gotten tougher to hide in spots like this, as people have kind of adapted to the ideology of, hey, these infantry are going to be typically higher up, and I've got thermals to spot them really easily. So it's definitely made things more challenging. You could also hear a ding there, and that ding was me getting shot, which is why I'm now running to the other side of the construction yard to try and basically reposition to a spot where I'm not going to get shot and killed, and still try to get a kill myself. There is also a couple of other classes. So you've got the sniper, the assault, the anti-tank. There's an anti-air, which I forgot to mention. Again, with the anti-air, I can't remember the exact weapons that are used between the American and Russian anti-air. I want to say it's like a 25mm weapon, but I'm not positive. They pack 4 FIM 92Ks, I want to say. That might not be the exact round, but they're FIMs. They are very fast, and they're generally pretty deadly at taking out helicopters. Sometimes the helicopter will survive, but a lot of times the rounds just come at you so fast that a lot of helicopters won't even have any idea that they're being targeted and won't have time to react before they actually get hit. Yeah, right there I just got a kill, and it doesn't even sound like I fired, but that was definitely a kill I got. I remember that. So the anti-air is very powerful, so you'll have Mi-28s and Apaches, AH-64Ds, and they'll get wrecked by a single infantryman. Like, a single anti-air infantry can take out 4 helicopters with no issue at all, and that's assuming that there's not another like 3 or 4 of them out on the field at one time. So helicopters, not super great during this event. I've had a couple of games where I had a really effective run in a helicopter where I just kind of got lucky that no one was in the anti-air. They just couldn't see me. But the anti-air is a thing. The anti-air also has a quadcopter drone. I never figured out how to use it. The control settings are different from the standard drones that are already in the game. And I just couldn't figure out how to actually set up the controls to get it to actually move properly. So unfortunately, I can't really tell you about the quadcopter drone. I haven't used it even like weeks into the event. But yeah, the anti-air is pretty decent. It's not my go-to class by any means, but later in the game, it's decent enough. It's usable. So then beyond the actual infantry, as I mentioned, there is a helicopter. So depending on your faction, you either get the Mi-28 or the AH-64, like I said. And then you guys are seeing the Bradleys and the Abrams tanks versus T-80s and BMPs on our team in this case. So you can spawn into tanks, and yeah, just the tanks are pretty good, but you gotta be kind of careful with them. The Bradleys can get killed by snipers in a single shot if they hit in the right spot. The Abrams and the T-80s probably aren't going to get killed by a sniper. They can, but it's very rare. You have to get like super lucky with your shot, and your ammunition type, or they have to be using the unguided rockets and hit again in the right spot. They can kill them though, so really the big thing that if you're in a tank in this game mode and you're playing it, say it comes back out again, the trick is just not to like really get into a confined space with the tank, because that's usually where you're gonna die. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of cutting away there, because that would have actually been really awesome to see that from the first-person perspective. And I should have gone back and edit this and like actually add it so that you guys can see this, but I'm too lazy to do that. But I just one-shotted a Bradley tank through the back door and just burst into flames. That's actually the second Bradley kill I got this match. I killed the other Bradley I was shooting at a little bit ago. I got lucky and shot it through the turret ring and killed the whole crew with the 30mm round. So, yeah, the sniper is definitely a lot of fun. The assault has gotten a lot better, though, as the event has progressed and everything, which I've definitely enjoyed. And yeah, the other thing I talked about was balance. I've kind of touched on balance, I guess, a little bit already. And like I said, the biggest issue I've had with balance so far to this, and I don't expect perfect balance because this is probably just going to be a one-off event or a pretty rare event if we see it again. But, you know, the assault class, for instance, just wasn't really that efficient compared to the sniper and stuff like that. Like, certain classes were definitely more meta than others. So there's balance issues there where just, you know, some classes don't necessarily feel worthwhile when you take them in comparison. And yeah, definitely the assault felt pretty lackluster. When they did rebalancing, I got a little bit better at killing. The assault's not bad, especially in close quarters now compared to the sniper, but it's still, I don't know. I'm still not certain it's actually better to take the assault over the sniper. The only advantage is I guess it's got a better anti-infantry guided rocket if you're using that, which I don't know that anybody actually would use that. Yeah, I don't know. The vehicles, again, the vehicles are fairly balanced. They can kill infantry very, very, very well. Again, though, it really just depends on where you are on the map, and you have to play smart when you're using the vehicles. The exception being the helicopters. The helicopters are very difficult to use. Helicopters are definitely where probably maybe the balance issues would show the most, just because the FIMs, especially with the anti-air having 4 of them, helicopters just don't seem to stand much of a chance at all, and they just kind of get wrecked, and it's a little unfortunate. Yeah, here I am kind of trying to capture this point. I think there is an enemy here, but I can't remember for certain. There is a shadow of like an infantryman, but I don't know, because again, I turned off the HUD, and I genuinely can't remember what happened here. So I got friendly, he was shooting up there, so yeah, I think there was an enemy that was up there, and I'm trying to find like a spot where I can kind of like hide and tuck away, but still hold the point and kind of defend it. And I really shouldn't be doing this with this BMP. I should have basically just, once I captured the point, moved off and tried to kill anybody who tried to flank it from the bottom or something, or go up top and hold that point there. Let's see what this helicopter. Yeah, you can see the FIMs. They're streaking up after this thing and putting in some work on it. Yeah, so what's tough is I want to talk more about the event, but I really think I've covered most of the meat and potatoes in regards to how the event's set up and my thoughts on it. But I've still got like a whole other clip here. I guess I could talk about what's going on in the match, but I feel like it's probably pretty evident, even with the UI turned off and everything, what you guys are seeing and watching here. I guess, again, I did mention it was very divisive. I guess I could touch on that a little bit more. A lot of people just don't seem to like it. I think it's mostly a balance thing. Some people just really don't seem as entertained as I am by the verticality of it. Jumping up and getting out to all these weird spots and exploring the maps in different ways than you're ever able to in a tank. It's certainly not as unique or new of gameplay when compared to, say, something like submarines or I guess the naval, like the sail one, for instance. But it's more unique, on the other hand, than, say, the Tailspin event that we got, which was a blast. I like the Tailspin event. But, like, that's basically just arcade air battles with, you know, cartoonish-looking planes and, you know, floating rocks. So, it's really, that one was pretty standard in comparison to this. This definitely feels a lot more unique. This one, I don't know what they're testing. Some people genuinely believe they're testing infantry. I don't think that's the case. You know, the thing is, you know, we've got enlisted, right, for Gaijin. You know, if, oh, yeah, here you can see me trying to land with the helicopter, trying to capture the point, and then, I saw a tank in thermals or something, I think, or maybe it was the helicopter there, and so I took off to try and engage it, and then, yeah, I started getting people shooting guided rounds, and then, like, yeah, tanks and stuff started coming up after me. Funny thing is I was low enough that when I hit this, I was actually, my gunner and pilot were still technically alive, so I could still shoot. I couldn't kill anything, because, like, the aiming was all jank and funky, but, I don't know, that was kind of amusing to me for a little bit. But, yeah, anyways, some people are saying they think that infantry are genuinely being tested for this. I don't foresee that, because, yeah, we have enlisted for Gaijin having an infantry-based game, and, you know, I don't really foresee infantry being added to Warthunder. I don't think they fit the gameplay very well. You know, the maps and stuff just, they don't make sense for infantry. Here, I'm popping up on the screen here in just a second. The score here, I guess I'll actually probably bring that down a little bit, because there's still a little bit of match left. But, yeah, I just, like, obviously here with the exosuits and stuff, it works because they're faster. You can jump over buildings and stuff like that. You can deploy smoke grenades for cover and stuff. And, you know, you're able to very easily move around with a lot of munitions that can take on vehicles and stuff. And that's obviously not the case with real infantry. You know, you'd have entire squads dedicated to handling, you know, anti-tank munitions and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know why people would genuinely believe that infantry were being tested with this event. I don't think that's reasonable to assume that at all. There is, I believe, probably some new munitions, and there is the quadcopter drone, which is a new drone. But, you know, honestly, while we kind of look at a lot of these April Fool's events and we say, oh, Gaijin's got to be testing something, because, you know, we had the naval event where they were very clearly testing naval, and we had the submarine event, which is them testing, you know, submarine mechanics, and we had the modern event, and then, you know, they were testing out modern vehicles and stuff and seeing how those actually worked it with, like, things like helicopters, because I think that was the first time we actually got helicopters, was the modern event was the first time we actually saw them. But not every event needs to be like that. You know, we had the Tailspin event, and again, that's basically just regular air arcade with a funny map and some, you know, shaders put on or whatever to make it a little bit more unique. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't necessarily know that they were testing anything with this. I think it was just supposed to be a fun event. But if they were testing something, I would guess it's probably stuff like munitions and the quadcopter drone. I can't think of anything that would use jump jets like this in terms of vehicles. Maybe there's something that I'm not thinking of, but I really don't know what it would be. Nothing comes to mind that utilizes actual, like, jump jets or anything. Other than, like, meme stuff that you wouldn't necessarily actually put into the game seriously. So, yeah. So, this is one of my favorite things to do during the event here. You guys are going to get to see. I think this might have actually been one of the first times I did this, was able to, like, jump up on the air conditioners, which I got a lot better at this, and I started being able to jump up on the first try. Yeah, I think this was the first time, and I was trying to jump up and I was struggling, so I sat there and I tried shooting the trees to make a clear line of sight in case I could shoot the guys when they went to capture the point, and then they didn't show up, so I I hopped on up here and was kind of looking around, didn't really know where to go or what to do. And yeah, again, just to kind of a sense of scale of what these infantry actually look like. And so they're definitely bigger than what like an actual infantryman would look like, but they're still very small, and if you don't have thermals on, it's very easy to miss them. One thing, and what's kind of a pain in this video, is that because this was recorded so early too, is they kind of changed how aiming works. So initially in the event, when you would aim down sights, it wouldn't change how your character moves. So basically, when your character's running, if like you're looking around somewhere else, like the whole character shifts and moves. It's not like a tank where the top half of the torso moves independently from the feet. If you moved your head enough, if you aimed in one direction or another enough as you're moving, your character would shift in that direction to face that way. So they changed it now so that when you aim down sights, your character doesn't do that. Like you move slower, but you're able to basically more smoothly aim and turn and stuff. And you could still do that here, and you'll see that I kind of get that, but you had to hold down left shift to actually be able to do that, whereas as the event changed, they just made it so that it automatically did that whenever you aim down sights, which was a nice quality of life improvement for the event. Which, again, these events don't need to be perfect, but especially now that they're tying them in with the crafting events, and they're kind of pushing people to play them for longer periods of time, for 2 weeks or whatever, and play them heavily to get stuff not only for these events but the crafting events. It's definitely nice to see the quality of life changes. It's just kind of a shame that a lot of these events are one and dones. So you can see there, I fired the rocket at the guy and hit him near point blank, and he survived, but downed him pretty quick with the 30mm. Yeah, this is definitely for me one of my favorite spots. Not the highest spot, not necessarily the best spot, but it's actually kind of overlooking the enemy spawn. It's not like directly in line of sight of their spawn, but it's close enough that as they're coming out of there, a lot of times they're still not necessarily super aware or in like a mindset that they're ready for combat immediately. So a lot of times you're able to kind of catch them off guard as they're just kind of mindlessly running to the center of the battlefield. And it sounds a little bit mean when I say it out loud and I think about it, but in terms of actually like scoring well and getting kills and stuff, it's very efficient. I mean, you guys can see I'm putting guy after guy down with the sniper here, and that's even with terrible aim. If I had good aim, I would probably have a much higher score. So it's definitely interesting to find the right spots and try and figure out what works and what doesn't. See, like this little escape here, and this was kind of a dumb luck thing because I didn't even realize this was here, but I deployed the smoke as I jumped down, and they were kind of looking for me and shooting at me for a second, but they lost me in the smoke, and they probably had no idea that little cubby hole was here. So I'm using C in third person to look around like you would with a tank and other stuff, and so I can kind of cheese a little bit and look up and see what's going on the ledge. I don't know. I'm guessing it's like tank line of sight, where just because you're looking somewhere doesn't necessarily mean you could see the enemy. So I could have been looking up, and there could have been an enemy looking down at me because I didn't have direct line of sight with my character because the building was blocking it. I might not have known. I don't know if that's the case with this event, especially because it's arcade and not realistic. But yeah, again, just it makes for kind of interesting gameplay, having all these small little areas and stuff that you can take cover behind and jump up on top of. And that's really what's made this event fun for me, is just kind of getting and exploring the map and just looking for new places to kind of hide and like just catch people off guard because they're not expecting it. And there's definitely some spots that get more heavily traveled, and there's some that are a little less so. So here you guys are gonna maybe, I can't remember with this guy. I think he just, oh no, he died. I was thinking that guy might have been one who killed me, because there's definitely points in this where, again, you'll shoot somebody with a sniper and most times they'll die in 1 or 2 hits. And then there's times where you hit them 5 times with the sniper and they'll survive. But then you get hit once with like the 8mm or, you know, the assault's weapon, and you die from like a single bullet because it's just bad luck. So there I was reloading, I'm pretty sure is what that was. I fired once and then that's why I quit shooting, is because I ran out of ammo. I had to stop and reload, and he got away while I was reloading. And one thing I was kind of terrible at during these particular videos, normally I tend to try and play the objective a lot more and try and maintain keeping it captured and stuff. Usually I prefer to play close range, but with this event I've definitely been going a little bit heavier on the sniper than I normally would in most other games. Like, I don't normally play tanks like this. Normally I prefer being like in the center of the city, doing like, you know, just close quarter battles, you know, going around like corners, getting stuff as fast as humanly possible. And I really haven't played this event like that at all. It's very much been the opposite of how I normally play. And maybe that's why it's so refreshing to me, is just because I'm breaking a habit that I normally have in like every other video game, which is, again, just rush into the center of things and cause as much chaos as possible. Whereas this, I'm just kind of sitting back, picking off targets at my own will and leisure, and just doing what I can. Yeah, so you can see I want to get on top of the building, I think is what I'm trying to do. And again, like, I figured out how to get on top of those air conditioners and get up to the top of the building from the other side by now, but here I didn't really know how to do that very well yet, so I ran around the entire building just so I could get back up on top. And have to get up there from their side, but you really don't need to do this. You can get up, you can jump on those air conditioners if you time it right, get on top the second air conditioner, and then jump up onto the roof from there. And then you could jump up on that lower roof. There's like a little shed or something that you can jump up on. Yeah, like that. I think that was a hit there. But again, some of these are hits where it's just not killing the guy. And then some cases of this, it goes like right through where they are, and you watch the tracer hit them, and then it does nothing. And I don't think it's cheating or anything. From what I've heard, the desync is really bad in this event, and you know, it's just I guess Gaijin servers. Again, when you're dealing with these much smaller targets, I think the margin for error is obviously a lot smaller. And because of that, when the server doesn't work properly, or the ping is off, causing you rounded at speed to the left or right or under a little bit more than what you're actually seeing on your screen, it becomes much more noticeable than, say, with a tank, where, you know, even if it's off a little bit, you're probably still hitting them. It's just, you know, your shell's in a little bit of a different spot, but you're not necessarily noticing because you're still getting the hit. Whereas with this, you're going, hey, I should have hit that person, and then you're just getting nothing. Yeah, this I think this match, I can't remember for sure. This match felt like it was kind of a little bit of a shutout. Obviously, they had recaptured the point and stuff there at one point, but for the most part, we were definitely hitting them pretty hard in their spawn. And this helicopter just shows up and wrecks me. I did say helicopters were mostly useless, but like I said, you can definitely get some work done. I was still using the Hellfires and stuff too, but like the Hydras or the unguided rockets definitely are very deadly if you're using them correctly. Just again, the tricky part is actually getting into the city and finding targets before you have 3 or 4 anti-air on you. So here you can see, I mean, he kills me, and I'm just, you know, I hate to kind of be that guy who spawns in as an anti-air, but then again, I'd also be stupid to say, hey, there's a helicopter going up around, probably unchecked, seemingly, and then not do anything about it when I have full powered capability to actually counter that helicopter. I didn't kill it though. Somebody else actually did end up killing it, but it gives you guys a good chance to look at the anti-air, because unfortunately that's one sad thing about this particular video that you guys are watching, is I really didn't explore the other classes that much. And I kind of wish I had, but Again, the gameplay has also shifted a lot over the last couple of weeks with the rebalancing patches and stuff that they've done, or at least patch singular. But, you know, I've got 2 pretty darn freaking good games already pulled from the website, recorded and uploaded here. Well, uploaded here, I say, on my editing software and ready to go for you guys. But I think what I want to do here, guys, is I want to end my audio because I accidentally jumped around a little bit on the video. I don't know exactly how much more time I have on the video. It looks like there might be like another minute or so left of gameplay for you guys to watch. So enjoy the last little bit of gameplay, guys. Hope you enjoyed the April Fool's event. Let me know what your thoughts are on the event. If you guys played this back in April, whenever you guys are watching this, or if you're just watching this for the first time, let me know what your thoughts on this event are or were, and yeah, throw those in the comments below. Alright guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.